Hello and welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. We've got a whole lot to talk about on the show this morning. We'll also be looking at the what happened in Paris last night, the Ballon d'Or. Focus is going to be on Ademola Lookman in that particular award, and a couple of other stories coming in from that section. We'll also look at Nigerian stories. Coming in from the world of sports in the country, because we just have to give the voice, we just have to talk about our own. If we don't do that, nobody will hear about our own sport. So we'll be looking at a whole lot on the show this morning. I also will dash into the Nigerian Premier Football League. Two games were played yesterday afternoon, and we'll get though we brought those updates on the evening show for yesterday, but we'll look at the conclusion of those games and the table and other stories on the show. So let's begin from this particular one. Let's start from wrestling this morning, where Esther Kolawole, who was there for Nigeria at the Paris 2024 Olympic Games this time around, did so well right there in Tatiana, where she won the bronze medal in the 62 kg category, defeating Estonia Victoria Vessel to win the bronze medal. Though she lost in her game, she lost the semi-final game to Masikiti 3-3. Though they finished on the same points, but on criteria rules, the USA lady defeated her on criteria rule. But she went ahead to come back with a bronze medal at the World Wrestling Championship in Tirana, Albania. So after that, she is actually thrilled to come back with a bronze medal at the World Order 23 event. All right, I have Michael joining me on the show. Michael Edoko, welcome to 360 Sports on Trust TV.
Thank you very much, Bash.
Okay, let's go straight to business. Esther Kolawole, she's on cloud 9 after coming back, after winning the bronze medal, giving it all in that fight to making sure she won the bronze medal against Estonia Victoria Vessel. And after that, fruitful outing for her, she's thrilled of at least not leaving that particular competition empty-handed.
Yes, I mean, if you look at it in context, you would realize that she actually has what it takes to win the gold medal. Sometimes certain factors just kick against you, certain little mistakes. But the truth of the matter is she has actually made us proud. And come to think of it, if there's any sport that we do better than football in Nigeria, I think it's wrestling. Wrestling doesn't get the kind of publicity it deserves. We know that many Nigerians are used to watching WWE, but perhaps not amateur boxing, as the case may be. But if you look at it, if you look at the laurels we've had over the years, especially when it comes to the Olympic Games, we've had, even when we were winning Atlanta 96, if you look at it, the few times we've had medals, wrestling is one of the sports that is always featured, but it doesn't really get talked about. And I want to encourage all the ladies who have extraordinary strength compared to the average woman on the street. You can choose wrestling. If you have a daughter who has masculine features, I think it's better you advise such a daughter to engage herself in wrestling or even weightlifting. You end up becoming the breadwinner of your family. It's an opportunity to promote this feminine sport for the wrestling, for women who have extraordinary strengths compared to the average woman. So, but congratulations to Esther Kolawole. Victoria Vetse, she was able to defeat her. We are happy. This is a good one for Nigeria, and we are hoping that this will be a morale booster for her. I'm sure she's had a very valuable experience, and if she's given the right attention, I think she might just be the face of our boxing, even though we know we saw her at Paris, but we believe that she is one lady that the Wrestling Federation can invest in to yield future results and medals.
Okay, talking about Wrestling Federation, they are one of the very viable federation, vibrant federation, very resourceful for a federation. Let me use that that adjective to qualify them because if you look, they always their programs are always spot on, and Esther Kolawole showing showing her skills and her word of experience. I know when she went to Paris Olympics, she actually got some experience despite she lost in Paris. Carrying on from there, if you look at the Wrestling Federation, they are one of the federations that is doing well in the country.
Yes, they are, definitely. I mean, it's clear that if at the cadet level at under 23, we have an athlete or a wrestler who is good enough, I mean, to even go and have a podium finish, it shows that the foundation of wrestling is right. I don't know how many sports in Nigeria have a good foundation, but whether we like it or not, wrestling has a very solid foundation, and that's the reason why they are churning out results as the tournaments continue to unfold. And so we want to encourage the government. I know that now it's in the hands of the National Sports Commission. Please pay attention to wrestling. I think there's a gold mine in the Wrestling Federation that even when it looks as if we can't get any medal in an Olympic Games or in a general sports event, wrestling is one sport that we can rely on to get medals, because somehow Nigerians we are gifted in the field of wrestling because we have lots and lots of strong men and women out there, especially in the south part of the country. So for the scouts, I think they can look in that direction. They will get to see so many potentials who can represent us in the future.
Okay, so many potentials that can represent us in the future. Congratulations to Esther Kolawole doing well at the World Under 23 Championship in Tirana, Albania. And Albania is a European country, if you're asking where that country is from. Okay, let's leave Esther Kolawole and come back home and go straight to Benin City, where the that is the Nigerian Basketball Federation, the Men's League, the 2024 edition is ongoing, and now the women finished theirs, and now we're having the men up and running. It was the match they won in that particular competition yesterday. River Supers from River State, starting on the winning note, beating Delta Force in that particular game. Now, River Supers, they are the defending champion, and now they've started well with a victory over Delta Force. As you can see the score on the screen, 87. It's a total whitewash of Delta Force.
Yes, I mean, when you look at the scoreline, it seems as if it's the Tigers playing against the Delta Force. I mean, it's so humbling, it's so humiliating. If you ask me, I would suggest to the Nigerian Basketball Federation that River Supers should just be they should all be drafted into the Tigers team, and they should be representing Nigeria as the Tigers, because that's one team that has it all. I mean, from the point guard, to the shooting guard, to the small forward, to the power forward, and of course to the center. They play a very solid zone defense, and the defense is so tight, forcing Delta Force to rely on outside shooting, and that culminated in this type of wide margin. I mean, you only see this type of margin when US faced Nigeria at the Tokyo 2012, the London Olympics in 2012. I think that was when we had a 73-point gap between the United States and Nigeria, even though we later came to win them in one of the recent years, perhaps last year or so. But that's the kind of scoreline we are seeing. A team that is dominant from top to bottom. My point guard is better than yours. Every position, they were better than Delta Force, and that's why. But shout outs to Coco. Ifeanyi Coco, I think he led all scorers with 18 points and 10 rebounds. He did very well. Samuel too did very well. They brought in a couple of new players, and I think that team is well coached. And it's that type of coach that we hope would have even been guiding the Tigers to tournaments, knowing fully well that even at the African basketball level, they have been able to prove themselves.
Okay, good one, and it's actually a nice outing for Rivers Hoopers against Delta Force. As we speak, in a few minutes away from now, they will be playing their second game against Oluyole Warriors. All the competition, the league is going on at the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium in Benin City. So let's see at the end of the day, will they be able to win the title they won last season? It's now left for them to do that. After winning, they represented Nigeria at the Ball Africa, and they came back with a bronze medal. All right, we have Ayola Deleke joining us on the show this morning. Ayola, quickly, you are in Benin City, where that is the center of the action. You were there, I believe you were there at the stadium where Rivers Hoopers dismantled your neighbors, the Delta Force, in that particular game in the Nigerian men's basketball league.
Yeah, a very big one for the Rivers Hoopers. No doubt, they are the Nigerian representative in the international scene for now. We saw what they did at the Basketball African League, and we know that it's a team that is capable of beating anyone at this point in time in Nigerian Basketball League. I wasn't at the stadium actually. I was elsewhere, Swan. We had our election. We had our meeting, so we were not chanced to be at the game, but I saw the result, and I think it's a good one for the Rivers Hoopers. Their coach talked about them coming to this league and making name for themselves again. What they did last time out at the Basketball African League was pleasing to everybody, and I'm sure that they also enjoyed the privileges that come around with that. So everybody wants to get to the top every time, so that whatever benefit comes from it, beyond you winning trophies, you also want to develop yourself individually, and many of them will be hoping that competing in another bad competition would expose them more and give them opportunity to play in another country. So I think it's a good one for them to win. I'm tipping them to retain this championship, no doubt. Though we have other teams who are in there from Lagos, from Kwara, the Kwara Falcons, and I think those ones can want to push them for give them a run for their money in this Atlantic Conference. But I'm still tipping the Rivers Hoopers to go ahead and win. So their win yesterday isn't a surprising one for me.
Okay, it's not a surprise win. We have the Atlantic Conference and the Savannah Conference. Both conferences games are up and running. But for Rivers Hoopers, definitely they have to win that conference, and then we'll not have the final 8 on yet undecided venue yet. Though we know the venue that will host the final 8. But for the women, the final 8 was in Lagos. MFM are the champions for the women's basketball league in Nigeria. All right, let's leave basketball this time around and talk NPFL. Ayola, we'll start with you before I speak to Michael. And now I think the NPFL is showing to be more organized. Yes, after that game, after that loss against Nasarawa United at the Lafia Township Stadium, Kano Pillars are still not satisfied with the result. And at the end of the day, Ahmed Musa granted some interview, some kind of allegation words were used in that particular allegation. But now, after all, NPFL organizers now slam Kano Pillars 2 million naira fine amid Ahmed Musa comments 1 million naira for improper conduct of their players and officials, and also 1 million naira for misconduct, which is capable of bringing the game to disrepute. Ayola, now I think NPFL, it's been a while we've seen this kind of issue in the league. Since last season, it was brought to the barest minimum. We actually didn't have much issues, crowd violence, and despite it was there, but last season we didn't really witness much outside that of Enugu Rangers and Enyimba. And this season has started. I think this is the first case, and then the first team that will be punished by the NPFL organizer.
Yeah, this is the first case this year, and
go ahead.
NPL now, about Nigerian Premier League, who are in charge of the NPFL. But I want to give kudos to the clubs for their sportsmanship behavior from match day 1 till match day 9. There hasn't been any reports of violence. wherever, in all centers across. Prior to this commencement of this season, we saw CSO of clubs, we saw club chairmen, media officers, all of them undergoing attending different seminars hosted by the NPL, and I think that has in a long way shaped the league so far. Unlike last season, where from match day one we've been seeing teams being slammed with fines and what have you, this season there hasn't been any reported apart from this one coming to a canopy last now. And two things I want to pick from this thing. Number one is they said Ahmed Musa made a statement, but in the report that we got, it was stated there that the media and communication department quoted, more like trying to throw the media department under the bus. The media department didn't put words in Ahmed Musa's mouth. He said it himself. So Ahmed Musa's statement should have been used. That would have been simple. That is by the way anyway, and that is for their own, whatever to trash out there in Canopy Last. But for the NPL, now the question is this: finding Canopy Last or Ahmed Musa for a statement, unguided statement, as they say, that could bring the league into disrepute. The question I want to ask yourself is: after making this finding Canopy Last, have they looked into the game we are talking about? If they are looking into the game, is there any iota of doubt from what Ahmed Musa said, or is there anything like not consistency from the referee? If that is the case, they should also look into that and also call the referees to order, because I'm sure Ahmed Musa is a well-exposed player who has been to different leagues, and also our highest goal scorer at the World Cup, if I'm not wrong, and also highest capped player for the Super Eagles of India. So whatever he's saying, I'm sure he's not just talking out of talking point. He knows what he's saying. He has seen better referee standard than what we have in the NPF. So when people like this make statements, we can tag Ahmed Musa to be like an authority among players in the NPFL. So look into that one, if it is true or not. But finding them 2 million naira, I think is just a way to still make the league a moderate one, so that every players or every club will not be coming out with unguided statement. A fair judgment, but they should still look into the officiating.
Okay, definitely. Let's see what will happen. They have 48 hours to actually appeal this sanction. Michael, if we look at the league this season, from last season to this season, we are actually happy for the tremendous improvement and changes we've been witnessing. In terms of quality of play, quality of teams, skills we've seen, and then also in terms of administration, we've been seeing some tremendous changes in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Because if we want to go forward, I think there are some things we just have to do away with.
Yes, definitely. There are some things we have to do away with. To be honest, I think the Nigerian Premier Football League is beginning to act like the English Premier League, where Anthony Taylor will deny penalties, Anthony Taylor will make rash decisions, look at the VAR and pretend not to see, the corrections, and then at the end of the day, nothing happens to him. You are a coach, Mikel Arteta, you speak about it, the next thing you get suspended, or you get fined. I think it's like slapping you and telling you not to cry. That is the direction that this so-called antics discipline is getting us to. I see no reason why a team should not cry out if they have been violated, if they have been treated unfairly. Why should they not cry out? The fact that Ahmed Musa is a colossal figure, that's the reason why it's a big deal, and they have to be fined. Yes, it's a chicken change to them, but we still need to look at the shenanigans. It's not all about bringing the name of the league to disrepute. It's about a free and fair, not election this time, but a match conduct. They should look at it overall. Unfortunately, Canopy Last have this crowd violence that they are synonymous with, which sometimes affects their overall conduct. So it's no surprise to me that Canopy Last are in the headlines once again. But I just feel a fair hearing should have been granted to them as well. What happened? What are the intricacies? Punch newspaper, tell us the other intricacies. It's not just tell us that Ahmed Musa criticized the referee or the match officials. So I think it's it's okay. So far, so good. Match day 9, I think the discipline has been fair compared to what we had last season. And like Ayola has said, there's been several seminars ongoing, and I think it's helping to reshape the league in the right way. So going forward, I believe we'll have lesser and lesser of such occurrences. But at the moment, our heart goes out to Kano Pillars. I hope they appeal and successfully get the results in the affirmative.
Okay.
Other way around, let me quickly check this.
Okay, go ahead.
I think what the message they try to pass across to Kano Pillars is basically, if you have any complaint lodge it through the right channel. Don't go to the media and paint the league in a bad way. I think that is what they are trying to do, but they also should look into the referees.
Okay, they should also look into the referees. For the referees, we saw last season where some referees were dismissed completely from the Nigerian Premier Football League. But it's a good way to go. Definitely, we cannot get it right just in one day. Like they say, Rome was not built in a day. It's a gradual process, and we'll get there. Let's quickly look at the result of the 2 games that were played yesterday, and then we'll look at the table. Yes, for Enugu Rangers, the defending champions, it was 1-1 against Kwara United at the end of 90 minutes. Lobby Stars, struggling Lobby Stars, also beat Bayelsa United 2-1. Bayelsa United is another struggling team in the Nigerian Premier Football League under Landam Boso. But for Enugu Rangers, yes, I think they are trying to put their house in order after starting the season slowly. They are a team that is known this season for not to be scoring a lot of goals. After 3 goals against Kano Pillars at their home ground in March 7, it's as if they are back to their usual way of getting goals. Just 1 goal. This season, they've not actually scored goals. But let's look at the table quickly before we talk about the result and move over to the next stories. For Rivers United, they remain. They went back to the top. They are one of the teams that has not lost this season. Remo Stars is second with 18 points, and we have Enyiba on the 3rd position with 17 points. Academy is 5th with 13 points. Sunshine Stars 7th with 13 points. And Enugu Rangers, after that draw, they now move to the 9th position on 12 points. Now, let's see that draw, what it means for Kwara United at the other side of the table. After that draw, they move to 12th position with 11 points, pushing Kano Pillars to the 13th position. So that is the effect of that draw. Quickly, Ayola, for Enugu Rangers, the questions are actually being asked right now. I believe that is what is going on in the mind of the players and coaches. They've not really been productive in front of goals since the beginning of this season, and that same problem affected them in the CAF Champions League.
Yeah, for Enugu Rangers, I think probably they took off their feet off the pedal, thinking that winning the league last season, they are now at the topmost level that they should be, and probably nothing was no longer motivating them, because take a look at how far they've gone this season. It is not something to write home about at all. Although from the beginning of the season, I tipped only 3 teams to contest for this league, and I didn't include them. The teams I tipped were Rivers United, Enyiba, and Remo Stars. Now, one of these 3 is going to win this NPFL. But for Enugu Rangers, I didn't expect them to get to this level, but I wasn't expecting too much from them. I said it before they even attended the played in the CAF Champions League, that the team need a total overhauling, having like about 15 players shipped out and bringing in new one. But people felt like that was just out of point discussion. Nevertheless, you've seen how far they've gone this season. They've been struggling away, even at home. Teams have been to the Cathedral to hold them. Kano Pillars went there to beat them at some point in time, leading them 4 goals to nothing in the first half before they could rally around to score 3 goals in the second half. So Rangers not where they should be at this time that they are. 9th on the log, 12 points. That is about 9 points behind the table toppers, and that is very risky for you. There's no continental football there that would have said that is a distraction. This is mere MPFL for you, and you are struggling against teams like Kwara United. If you cannot win against teams like Kwara United, then I don't know what the season could be, but it's not a good one for them as it stands now.
Okay, Michael, do you have 1 or 2 to say about the team? But though they still have the quality on their side, if you want to look at, but just now they struggle in the front of goals.
Yeah, the challenge with some of these top teams is When you win an MPFL, your team becomes so attractive such that your players, even if you have average players, they begin to look like superstars. And the next thing, Dubai FC comes calling, from Bahrain, they come calling with more attractive salaries. And then before you know it, the exodus begins, and then the players begin to move. And then some domestic teams begin to come with enticing salaries to woo the players from the winning team. When you win the league, you become a target, and your players are no longer guaranteed, because the players will come to you and say, you are paying me £1 million monthly. Bayelsa United want to give me 2 million, and before you know it, they get shipped out. Plateau United had to release their 2 best players. I mean, Albert Hilary and perhaps Nerod Silas. They had to release their 2 best players. It's a good thing that they are still fourth on the league, perhaps a semblance of what they had last season. But it is very clear that MPFL is the league that has the least guarantee. And a team can win EPL back to back to back. You can win Bundesliga back to back to back. But the Nigerian Premier Football League is not a league where you can win back to back, because so many factors come into play. And I think that's affecting Enugu Rangers. I hope Coach Ilechukwu will not be dropped from the Wafu Super Eagles coach. That's my own, because he's still a very good gaffer.
Okay, he's a very, very good cover. Whatever happens with the club doesn't actually affect the national assignment. They will be, he and Remo Stars coach Daniel Ogumon, they will be in charge of the Chan Eagles, though they will be supervised by the Super Eagles interim coach, Austin Ogwevon. All right, let's leave that story and go straight to Lagos. Yes, the second leg friendly game against Algeria will be coming up between the Super Falcons today at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos. That game will be played in the afternoon at 2 p.m. precisely. That game will be up and running at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena. It's a friendly game against the Algerians, just to put the team in shape ahead of the African Women's Nations Cup under interim coach Justin Madugo. Ayola, for the Super Falcons, the first leg, Ajibade got the 2 goals for Nigeria, and the second leg will be up there in Lagos this afternoon.
Yeah, the first leg, a good one for Nigeria, and though it is friendly match, but I think this is the friendly match for the first time that we are having more than 6 home-based players, in the team, and they are not just part of the team; they are playing in the team. They are part of the team, going by what we saw in the first leg. About 4 years of around the world, I'm trying to be careful with my words now, but we all saw what happened around the world drum, how Nigerian women football actually deteriorated. We cannot take away that fact at the national team level. But now we are trying to build a new team, and having only 6 foreign-based players among the players against Algeria. I want to say that the Algerian team, not that a fantastic or a big deal team when it comes to African women football, not like the Cameroonian, the Ivorian, or even Moroccan side. But Algeria, not the name that will scare you anytime you want to play. And I think this kind of games is good for our own base players, many of them to be brought into the team and given the chance once again to come and show us what they are made of. Players invited in the team are quite good. Yeah, we can testify to it from what we saw at the NWFL Championship last season. And as well, I believe playing these 2 games now, the second leg taking place at the Mobile Johnson Arena today, will be another time for these girls to get familiarized with each other. And maybe when there's another assignment, we can have this same set of players to play again. Sorry to or apologies as the case may be, to the foreign-based players. They've had their time. Let us have these young players from the league as well also come. We have seen it over the years. Players from the NWF or Nigerian Women Football League, being integral part of the Super Falcons and taking us to heights. So this time around, let us go back to the basic, which is the local base, and let us bring in players that can also help the team. From there, they also grow and become superstars.
Okay, Michael, I don't know if you actually agree with Ayola on that. Under Randy Wardrum, we can say the team, Super Falcons, did badly under Randy Wardrum. But I don't know if you agree with Ayola, what he said about the Super Falcons under Randy Wardrum and what we're having now. It's just a friendly game, but it's to also test these home-based players and see how we can have them in the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's a dicey situation. Sometimes you could have better players from the home side, and then even who could be better than the foreign-based players. It's all about the discretion of the coach. If you have 20 players on your team, you know that you are starting the first 11. Your discretion with your coaching experience and expertise should let you know who the better player is. For instance, if you are looking for a center half, by the time you watch the foreign-based center half and you watch the local-based center half, you should know who is a better player. So your decision for first choice defense should be based on who plays better, not based on where the player is playing. So that's why I say it's actually dicey. I wouldn't feature you because you play for a female Fenerbahce or a certain female Galatasaray, when I know that when you are playing for Bayelsa Queens, the defender there plays better than the one abroad. Ideally, if I want to assemble a solid team, I'll definitely go for the one that plays, for the home, for the local league. And then I'm also happy for the fact that Rasheedat Ajibade has been able to take the bull by storm. I mean, it's not all the time we keep relying on Asat Oshuala. At least we need someone to step into the shoes, to carry the burden of scoring. I remember in those days, we used to have a certain Rashidi Akini that I watched in Senegal 92, I watched in, I think, Tunisia 1994. And then much later, we saw a certain Wilson Oruma, and players continue to evolve. And then Agawa came calling in year 2000 with his Baton Fleet. I can't forget all those memories. So we want to see succession when it comes to striking. If you don't have the next striker who will become the face of the team, somehow the team begins to capitulate. So sometimes we may blame coaches, but sometimes the succession of the strike force also matters. We want to see another player carry scoring load on our head. It's not all about the main person we know. It should continue to rely on that particular player. And so I wish that Ajibade will continue to blossom. And we know she's been there for some time alongside Azizat, but we want to see Ajibade also hug the headlines. We want to see her win the way Azizat also won in the past, so that the future can be bright.
So that the future can be bright. We also have the likes of Perpetua, one coach, then they were doing it for the Super Falcons, Mexi Akide. We have our own precious Dede in between the sticks. But right now, we have one of the best goalkeepers in the world and the continent of Africa, that is Chiamaka Nnadozie, exceptional goalkeeper. So we're happy. The Super Falcons, they will be playing their second leg game against the Algerians in the friendly game at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos this afternoon. All right, still talking women's football. Let's look at the Flamingos. Yes, they had 100% qualification from the group, but in the quarterfinal, they met the same team they met in the last edition, but it's not what they expected. It was 2-0 against the Flamingos of Nigeria. But despite that defeat, fans have actually thumbs up Flamingos despite tournament ouster from the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in Dominican Republic. Ayola, from my own expectation, I expected the team to surpass the quarterfinal stage, but you know, football sometimes gives you the kind of result you least expected. And against the USA, someone said it was a tactical deficiency that cost the Flamingos that lost to the United States of America. They played this team in the last edition, though won via penalties. Winning is winning, but this time around, they didn't give the Flamingos that chance.
Yeah, last time out we played together and we won via penalties. And now they went back home, they work on their lapses, and they came back stronger than they were last time out. Just as Riley said earlier, that tactical deficiencies. Well, it will always be there, especially when you are playing against these Western world teams that takes tactics more important in football. Not just about talent, not just about you can run, and the coaches themselves also matters. Beyond the coaching and the players, we also have different programs they have in the team, the psychology, the therapists, and whatever, that work together to make sure that the team wins. This is underage football, we should remember, and we should know it is developmental football. So on that basis, I wouldn't want to say anything bad about the team. The girls are young, they are kids, as we are told, and I believe that with time, we will surely, metamorphose into bigger players. However, there is something I would like to say about this one here. Over the years, we keep on doing what seems to be the same thing. One player appearing twice at the under-17, a World Cup. Maybe still under the age. Yeah, it's a fine one. But the US, the Americans, they know what they want, and they were able to work on our lapses. Some people were carried away in the group stage when we defeated New Zealand, Colombia, and Dominican Republic, thinking that we have arrived. Me, I wasn't happy, basically because I love us to have stronger opponents in the group stage, at least one or two, so that when you play against them, you know that you are going into the knockout stage. It is no longer child's play. But we thought that we had arrived, scoring 4 goals twice, and I think probably we also relaxed a bit playing against the US, thinking that we can always outsmart them, knowing that they also didn't have a good group stage. They came second in their group. And because of that, we thought, okay, we could go ahead and roll over them. But they shocked us. Not a shock anyways, but some people would say they shocked us. Yeah, it is fine. But I think we lost to a superior team.
Okay, we lost to a superior team. For the Flamingos, they did well, 9 points from the group. It is what it is. The coach actually said they gave their best, but their best was not really enough against the USA team that is coming in from the coach. Let's leave that and go straight to France. Michael, I will come to you, the Ballon d'Or. A lot of persons are saying this award has been compromised. But for our own Ademola Lookman, a player we are looking forward to win the African Footballer of the Year, he joined the likes of Kanwankwo, Victor Osimhen, among the 3 Nigerians to appear on at the first 20 best player in the world in the Ballon d'Or rating. So he finished on the 14th position, but Rodri was the winner of the award. Rodri, that plays for Manchester City and the Spanish national men's team, the La Rojas. Michael, are you there?
Well, for me, yes, I have my reservations concerning this Ballon d'Or. First and foremost, I mean, we need no soothsayer to tell us that Vinicius Jr. is the best player in the world right now. I don't know how these voters think. I know Rodri has been part of the greatest teams manifesting in Manchester City, on the Spanish team, no doubt. But as far as I'm concerned, Vinicius Jr. is the most outstanding. He is the best. He's the paciest player currently on planet Earth. I know Rodri galvanizes the midfield for the best, perhaps the best national team and the best club side in Europe. But let's be honest, if you look at it, if you are calling it a Ballon d'Or, if you're calling it the best player, Vinicius Jr. should be holding that trophy right now and not Rodri. As far as I'm concerned, Rodri should be the second in that podium, not the first. But we've seen it happen several times. I remember in 2003, Thierry Henry was robbed. A certain Andrei Shevchenko was given. In 2004, Thierry Henry was robbed. A certain Ronaldinho was even given the Ballon d'Or trophy. So this is not the first time we've been seeing shenanigans. A certain Lionel Messi won the trophy 8 times. When you look at it, you will know he deserves like 5 or 6, or let's say 6, not 8. So the controversy surrounding Ballon d'Or has been right from time. But nevertheless, we give Rodri his flowers. He did very well. At least he's been the face of 2 wonderful, successful teams as far as the year 2024 is concerned. But for Lookman, I don't believe that there are 14 or 13 players that are better than Ademola Lookman in the world right now.
Yeah.
Lookman should be in the top 10 as far as football is concerned. I saw certain names on the list. I saw names that I know that Lookman did better than. I mean, I know that Toni Kroos has been a fantastic player. I saw the other names on the list. I believe that Lookman should at least be in the top 10, perhaps in a position like 8th or 9th, similar to what Victor Osimhen finished. Or is it that they are looking down on the Europa League? The Europa League is as difficult as the Champions League. So perhaps it's because he's playing for a certain Atalanta. I don't know how these voters think. I think there's a lot of bias in their picking, because you feature only one African player. To me, I feel that there are at least 2 or 3 African players that should have at least been on that list. So I see a bias towards the African continent as far as that list is concerned.
Okay, Ayola, I can see you nodding your head. If we look at the Ballon d'Or, a lot of controversies. I think I will agree to that. But it is what it is for Rodri winning it, and we also have Antia Bonmati, the player for Barcelona, also winning the Women Player of the Year back to back. She won it the last time out, and she has won it again. 2 Spanish national team players winning those 2 prestigious awards. But from your own end, my concern is for Ademola Lookman. Like Michael mentioned, I would even prefer Ademola Lookman to be in the top 5, not even in the top 10, at most 1 to 6. Yes, because if you look at the way Ademola Lookman is playing, what he did for Atalanta, what he did, becoming the first player to score a hat-trick final, first African player to do that in a European competition, either the Champions League or Europa League, or as far as the European competition. So, well, I'm not part of those that is voting, but we just have to say some of these things.
Yeah, I'll pick it from where Mike stopped, talking about probably they are looking down on Atalanta. Firstly, they didn't win the Scudetto, talking about the Italian Serie A. And secondly, maybe they are looking at the UEFA Europa League as a lower league that is not meant for superstars. So those 2 factors. And the third factor is African factor. Who are those putting these, who are the people involved in this voting? We understand that national team coaches, national team captains, as well as selected journalists are the ones, voting. But if you have to go by how they performed last season or in the year under review 2024, I think Ademola Lookman should be in top 10. There's no gainsaying in this one. It's not as if we are hyping this guy because he's Nigerian, but because of what he has done on the national front at the club level. This guy is performing week in, week out. He's picked it up where he stopped last season, and he's been doing well so far this season again, still under the same year under review. And they're talking about Rodri's position. I feel things need to be explained in this Ballon d'Or, and that is why I love NBA, the way they do their ranking, the way they do their MVP. It comes with statistics. You don't just give anybody award anyhow. Nothing stops goalkeepers from winning Ballon d'Or or FIFA Best. Nothing stops defenders from winning it. Everything has to do with statistics. What is their contribution to the team? Number of saves made by a goalkeeper. What would have happened if he had not made those saves? What impact do those saves, what do they have on the team's success for the year? Not just because a player is picking ball from defenders, distributing to wingers, and you feel he has done everything. Lautaro Martinez is also on the list. I think he's ranked 7 or so. This guy, for me, also had a better year than Rodri. This guy won the Copa America. He won 30 trophies, I think, with Internacional Milano, and he did well as well, scoring about 39 goals. Yet this guy is ranked number 7. And you ask yourself a question: why not even Vinicius Junior? Many discussions to come from this one reaction, obviously as expected. But for Ballon d'Or award, I think they need to change the requirement used in picking these best players. It shouldn't be about voting alone. The players' performance, the statistics should also be backed up, should be used in backing up their wins. I think that's what they should do. We are moving with time. They also should move with time. We should not just let some selected people, about 150 people, to determine who wins the award.
Okay, to determine who wins the award, it has now generating a lot of controversies for Vini Jr. and Rodri, and because of that, For Real Madrid, they are the best team in the world according in that award, and Carlo Ancelotti, Don Carlo, won the best coach of the year, but they were not there to receive any of these. Immediately they got the wind that Vini Jr. would not be named the best player, as in the best player for that particular award. So they did not show up at that award night in Paris, France. For Kylian Mbappe, he shared the Gerard Muller trophy with Harry Kane. For Kylian Mbappe himself, he was not there. The entire Real Madrid team, the president, Florentino Perez, none of them works at that gala night where this award was announced. So let's see how it goes. Well, kudos, congratulations to Rodri for winning the award. The vote was done, and it is what it is. He's the winner. He's the face of the Ballon d'Or 2024. And Marti of Barcelona also winning for the women's version. Emiliano Martinez. Now, Michael, quickly, for Martinez, I think he deserved to be the world best goalkeeper. I think in all of the awards where I saw, that is one of a clear one. To me, in my own opinion, Martinez actually deserved that Golden Glove.
Yes, I mean he's a World Cup winner. I know he's playing for a certain
Aston Villa. Okay.
Not this. Did not blow past his face. The wind of bias didn't blow past his face when it comes to the selection of the best goalkeeper. I think it's well deserved. I've been saying it time and time again that Emiliano Martinez is the best goalkeeper in the world, and I'm glad that despite the fact that he's not playing for Arsenal or Man City or Chelsea or Real Madrid or Barca, he was given that title. So that is the only thing I know that they got right. Maybe perhaps the female and then the best team as well. But that Ballon d'Or for the men, I think they got it all wrong.
Okay, all right, let's leave that. Congratulations to all of the winners last night, and for Ademola Lookman also being there after we had Victor Osimhen in the last one. We have Ademola Lookman back to back, and for Ademola Lookman, he joins Kanwakon Victor Osimhen to become the first 3 Nigerian players to be in the top 20 of the best player in the world. Now let's go straight to NBA. I will still stay with you, Michael. The NBA is drawn. Those games were played earlier as of this morning. We had Houston Rockets. They lost. They defeated San Antonio Spurs 106 to 101, and then Chicago Bulls just 3 points against Memphis Grizzlies 126 to 123. Utah Jazz lost to Dallas Mavericks 102 to 110, and then Portland Trail Blazers lost to Sacramento Kings also 98 to 111, and Lakers, very close game between Lakers and Phoenix Suns 105 to 109. The Lakers where we have the LeBron James family. All right, Michael, good games in the NBA quickly. Earlier as of this morning, fantastic games. We've seen Lakers at least losing that game by 4 points.
Yes, when you look at the NBA Western Conference, you will see that the Los Angeles Lakers, the Phoenix Suns, and the Oklahoma City Thunder have had a 100% season before last night. LeBron James had his son, of course, together with him on the same team. Anthony Davis had a monstrous 29 points and 15 rebounds. LeBron James still one of the top 10 best players in the world at the age of almost 40. The Lakers have a solid starting 5, and I think they are going to challenge for the title this season. But the Phoenix Suns, they've been able to make their footprints indelible at the Footprints Arena in Phoenix, Arizona. Kevin Durant had a monstrous 30 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists. And I think Devin Booker also had the 33 points to lead all scorers. Those are the big 2 for the teams. 2 years ago, they were in the Western Conference Finals. Now, again, they have shown they have what it takes. And for San Antonio Spurs, the inclusion of Chris Paul to join a certain Victor Wembanyama will prove a valuable addition. We hope to see Victor Wembanyama's statistics rise to outstanding figures this season, knowing fully well that he has arguably a top 5 point guard in the history of the game in Chris Paul to give him all. And for Dallas Mavericks, we're happy that Klay Thompson has joined Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic We are looking forward to seeing the team blossom wholesome with the top three.
Okay, with the top three, those are the games for NBA. And before we go on the show quickly, I believe Ayola, we have something to say about this Olaino in contract extension talks with Nottingham Forest. Fantastic. He started well this season in 10 seconds, Ayola. For Olaino, I believe he should stay with Nottingham Forest before, at least maybe for a season or two, before moving away from that club.
Yeah, if you stay with them, if they offer him good contract, it's not about contract extension. It has to be, it has to do with what comes with the contract extension as well. Olaino, no doubt, has proven, himself to be a good player since the resumption of this new season. And in his right back position, he has definitely done massively well, making it difficult for attackers and forwards to always outplay him. Although you want to say that probably not playing for a bigger team than Nottingham Forest. So the contract they are giving to him, extension, is a good one. Shows that they enjoy what he's been doing for them so far. But I feel something better should come with the contract extension.
Okay, something better should come with the contract extension. That is where we'll be leaving it on the show this morning. Thanks, Ayola, for joining on the show, and also to you, Michael. It's a great one having you guys on the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
Thank you very much, Ayola, and the duo.
Okay, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Say thanks for watching.